This episode of Out of Spec Reviews is brought to you by Magna. More on that later. Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome to a beautiful dry lake bed here in Nevada, and welcome to the ultimate electric two-car solution. The Rivian R1T 835 horsepower quad motor super truck with a huge front trunk, a nice bed, wonderful interior. We've made a ton of videos with Rivian vehicles. However, I've never driven one on the 22-inch sport wheels, so that will change today. And we've brought along our trusty Taycan. We've been doing a lot with this car, and well, I figured dry lake bed, top speed, we should see what this can do. This is the Rivian R1T. It's owned by my friend Ryan. I'll link his YouTube channel down in the description. And essentially, he just got this, what, 3 days, like a week ago? Yeah, 10 days. And he's like, yeah, let's bring it to a dry lake bed and get it dirty. I'm like, hell yeah, there's also some stuff over here it looks like we can drive up. The one thing we do want to be sort of mindful of is to not just dig up the surface here. And with 835 horsepower and a drift function, we do need to be a little bit careful with just making sure we don't dig into this. But I think we could get a feel for how the truck drives, maybe some little slides around here, but we don't want to be doing donuts and digging into the surface just to protect the land. The truck itself, 135-ish kilowatt hour battery pack. We've tested one on the all-terrain tires at 290 miles at 70 miles an hour constant. We've towed with it. And I've really just fallen in love with the truck. It's just an insane vehicle. It's so good. It has a huge breadth of capability, from being very close to sports car level handling on a back road to actually legit off-roading. And I've been lucky enough to put up many thousands of miles on these now. And this, of course, is the Taycan. Now, interestingly, this Taycan is the standard version, and it's actually about $20,000 more expensive than the Rivian. No one ever said Porsches were cheap, but in my opinion, they're actually worth the money. This thing feels like it's carved of one. It's super, super fast on a road trip, just smokes just about anything with 270 kilowatt charging. Actually, just before we came out here, I went from 7 to 50% state of charge in 8 minutes. It just freaking is awesome. It's got a hatchback. You can get roof rails. It's the ultimate Colorado electric car. And while personally, I would probably go for a GTS spec, something a little bit spicier, this Taycan 4 Cross Turismo is actually pretty good for what we're doing today, because we just had to drive basically through rocks and ruts, and this has gravel mode, and I think it'd be fun to play around with the ESP calibrations and different modes and see how this thing does. All I'm saying is, let's get in the cars, go have some fun with no rules, basically, and definitely get both up to their top speed. This episode is proudly brought to you by Magna. Magna is a mobility technology company that is super unique because they touch every aspect of almost every car on the market, especially a lot of electric vehicles, and they even can produce vehicles from the ground up. Now, you may remember I shot a series just recently testing some of their new electric vehicle powertrains, so stay tuned for a lot of Magna content to come. We're going to be going in depth with some really interesting topics with these guys, and Out of Spec wants to thank Magna for sponsoring this review and tons of other videos to come right here on Out of Spec. We look forward to working with Magna to define and find out what the future of mobility looks like. I'm joined here with Jordan and Ryan. Have you guys ever been on a big dry lake bed?
With the ID4.
That's right. If you haven't already, we took 2 ID4s prepped for rally work, the Rebel Rally and one of the Baja situations, out on a dry lake bed in Cali, not far from here. So, into drive. Let's just cruise around, put the suspension in regular, and just get a feel for it. It's our first time out here at this particular spot. And we saw a Mustang just absolutely tearing it up, doing donuts over there. So we just need to be a little bit mindful as to who's out here. But it's still early in the morning after a party weekend. So I think we should be pretty good to see. Yeah, there's the Mustang just full drifting. Oh, he just spun it. Okay, so maybe we don't need to be too crazy about like protecting the surface. Maybe we can have some fun here.
Some people have, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's just not do consistent donuts. But I think big skids should be not digging into the surface. So we're just going to kind of avoid that guy and just see how it feels. Right now, I mean, the Taycan's built so well, it feels like we're just on pavement driving to the grocery store, you know? And so just to test like grip levels, I have everything in just normal mode. So let's just turn here really quick. Oh yeah, just feels like pavement. I mean, you can see traction control is doing a pretty good job of managing the power, and then big straight line speed. And I guess you could just hammer it kind of like this all day. The one thing I'm worried about though is like, what if we hit where someone's done donuts? Before we do a top speed, we need to carve out like what's the direction we're gonna go. But in the Taycan, at least, let's just do, everything's kind of held down. I just want to try like grip levels. So acceleration, braking, let's try all this stuff. So let's do a 50 mile an hour braking test. So 50-ish, 3, 2, 1. Seatbelts yanked us.
Nice.
And there goes all the dust. That's pretty hilarious. So yeah, good braking grip. I mean, the Taycan's always awesome. It has great brake pedal feel. Headlights on for safety always. And I think we'll do rear fog as well. Yeah. And let's do a full launch. So I'll go into sport mode. What's interesting about this car is it's the base one, or it's the standard car.
Yeah, it's still great.
It's still so good. All right, left foot hard on the brake, flooring it with the right, launch control activated. You can hear it kind of wigging power, and there it goes, full beans. And second gear. Dang, 100 miles an hour. Brakes. I didn't realize it ended here. So like that's pretty sweet. And then in sport mode, maybe even it should give us a little bit more rear rotation. So if we start sliding it around a bit, I mean, like just kind of going in, definitely powering rear axle. You can feel that feels good. What does gravel mode do though? So here's gravel. It stiffens the dampers to like max. So when you're off-roading, it doesn't squish down, which is kind of what you want. So this is just standard gravel mode. It's achieved the ride height it wants. The Mustang's still over there, right?
Yep.
And so here, oh yeah, definitely less aggressive. Definitely less aggressive throttle management and braking stuff. But then we can go like full PSM off sport mode. So like back, we'll put the damper in full soft though. So this should be as sporty as this car can go. And we'll see kind of how it feels. And then we'll jump in the Rivian after and see how that feels. That'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So just big turn. Yes. It does the Porsche thing, which is stick it into a corner and just get nice neutral steers, ripping, full speed, and it absolutely hauls, and it just pulls consistently. The nice thing about the standard car is it's not overstressed at all. It's just, you know, it's like everything's detuned, so it just makes the same power all the time.
Yep.
Should we try a top speed situation?
Yes.
And there's just a random person standing over here. Top speed run in the Taycan. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Left foot hard on the brake, floor with the right, launch control activated. Everything's totally clear.
All clear.
Just keep an eye out throughout the drive and pop off the brakes. And even for a base car, this thing feels pretty quick in launch control. It's spinning tires. So it gives you like a ton more power in launch control. Feel it shift into second gear there. Here we go, full beans, we're wide open. How's our trajectory?
Looking good.
Awesome. Huge side wind, 130, 140, and it's backing off there, and I'm gonna lift.
And we're at our pin.
We're at our pin. We are on the brakes. Full brakes. Still full brakes.
Wow.
You used every bit of that.
Yep. That was awesome.
Quick photo of where we stopped.
Yeah, don't hit that metal.
It got technical.
That's all right. It was a little spicy.
That was good.
That was awesome.
That was great.
Great car.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump in the Rivian and see how that does.
Sounds good.
You now join us in the Rivian R1T, and let's just start all-purpose, standard, stability on, the full situation. I do just want to adjust the steering wheel to come out a little bit. Adaptive cruise unavailable. I wonder why. Okay, cool. So let's go cruise around in the Rivian. And I think we should just start with, just kind of seeing how it feels with some power. So, I mean, this thing
power.
just can't get traction. It's just trying. Whoa, I forgot how good the motors sound.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Cool. Well, I've never driven it on the sport wheels, so immediate impression, dry lake bed impression is, yeah, it doesn't feel too bad. Let's go into sport. I mean, definitely different than the all-terrains, but again, this is like a different surface. You know how many people asked us to drive on the sport wheels?
A lot, probably.
Yeah, I don't know why that's a thing, but it is. So we're in sport lowest suspension, which is still probably higher than the Taycan. Nice lateral grip, applying throttle. Look at that, nice target oversteer. So the thing with 4 motors in a Rivian is, and without a locking diff, is when you spin the inside tire, there's no way to get the power that's being wasted there from that spinning wheel to go to the outside, because you have to then spin up the outside motor. But if you're doing wide open throttle acceleration sideways, big drifts, you're still leaving power on the table that you could potentially transfer with a mechanical locker.
Yep.
And so that kind of bugs me, this 4 motor thing. It's cool in theory, it sounds awesome, and it's great in a straight line, but when you start doing stuff like this and you floor it, like I can feel that inside wheel spinning and that one kind of running out of steam. Let's just go stability off in sport mode. We're not in drift function or anything like that. This is just, so sport, regen high, lowest suspension, stability mode off.
Yep.
So about as hardcore street as you could get. And again, we're not trying to like tear up the surface. We just want to feel little slip angles, stuff like that. But like getting into it, I mean, it's still, you could call this a drift mode.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, it's really flat.
Look at that. That's freaking sweet. What do you need a drift mode for? But I do feel like it's a little weird. I have to go like wide open throttle to get it to kick around like that. Like here's where I want a locking diff, give me more power to the outside wheel. But wow, this is just response to input really good. Tight stuff, you can get it in, nail it, get the vehicle around, and it just pulls itself right out, and it's got insane power. It sounds awesome. The brakes in the Taycan though, yeah, way more responsive and right there. I mean, the braking power in this is good, but you can tell it's got heavier weight that it's got to stop.
Mm-hmm.
You got your tonneau cover closed, right?
Hope so. I do.
Yeah. Well, you got to actually see the dust proofing, because this is as aggressive of dust as you'll ever get.
Yeah, it's not airtight. You can see in from the gap at the tailgate.
Oh, so it's going to be a little dusty.
So there's going to be some dust.
Okay, let's go find our little wide open throttle thing. Can we navigate back to that pin? And let's go see what the top speed is. I think it's 116.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Which is really like 14 indicated, or a GPS.
Yep.
You're headed straight toward it.
Great.
Watch out for the debris that's right between us and it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there were a few things.
Okay. Well, it's kind of hard to like see anything out here. Ready for a top speed in the Rivian?
Yep.
So we know the best way to launch it is to go, we'll put stability to reduced, because we did get hit with some crazy wind that last pull in the Taycan. And so we'll just have a little help there. Left foot hard on the brake, flooring it with the right. It doesn't do anything, but it actually does go into launch mode.
Yeah.
Editor's note, I removed the headrest so I could see better, and I now regret that.
Good luck! Wow, it's just struggling for traction. Got a plane overhead. Just keep your eye out for motorcyclists.
All clear.
We're wide open. 116, 14, 15. Come on, let's see 116. I know you can do it. 115. I don't know where we're going anymore.
It's not doing it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
So on pavement, ours did 116. This says 115. Man, it feels so solid.
We got there quick.
It just, and then you sit there.
Yeah.
The Taycan, we needed a lot more room to go faster, of course. And here's where we were full brakes coming in. Well, I gotta say, that's awesome. I just am so impressed with the Rivian's driving dynamics, even for having 4 motors, being able to do these very controlled, like if we go, you know, full off on stability control, like you don't even need the drift function in here. We should try that really quick, but just like coming over here and just stuffing it and getting nice big angles like that is just awesome. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Long wheelbase drifting is fun.
Yeah, anything drifting is fun. Just, and then it handles so well. It's a truck. Like at 50 miles an hour, you would never think to do this with a truck.
Yep.
You know? And then to like hard lane change it off throttle.
And like Ryan says, it's so planted. There's not a lot of body roll.
It's just so freaking good. But I do want to go off-road, turn off stability. It's already off. Drift mode. So let's feel the difference between drift and rally. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Okay, so here, so it's raising us up to standard. Bad choice.
Yep.
I don't know why they do that. I want this thing slammed for actual on-road driving. So now we're in standard mode. We're in drift. Stability's off. Regen's on high. Ride. Let's go soft. We want to actually for
Supple.
drifting.
Comfortable drifting.
Yeah. All right, because we're in standard suspension. All right. Let's see how drift mode feels. Whoa, definitely more drifty on the initial, but not anymore at speed, because again, this is where we run into, we're getting everything the motors can already do in sport mode. So if we go like just coming into the corner here, off throttle, I want to see if it does like a Tesla track mode, grab a wheel and get you in. Ready? And then powering in. So definitely going more juice on that outside tire, but not as drifty as even sport mode,
Yep.
in my impression. Maybe at like low speed, I don't know, but like just coming in,
Do you think it limits power at this height?
it might, because it's not, everything I'm doing here I was doing in sport mode, and we were way more sideways. Off throttle though, you can see it grabs front regen and it gets you into a corner. So it's kind of like fun to like just get in on drift, throttle a little bit, progressively adding power. I'm wide open and we're sort of maintaining, and then we run out of steam. Let's go rally, stability off, and we'll drive it like we're on a freaking rally course. So nice angle, definitely front axle, giving us more juice here.
Oh, just pulling us.
Yep, just pulling us. So like big brakes on a rally circuit, stuff it in, big power. It just feels like we're just reaching limits of motor out here in this type of surface. So like progressively adding throttle. That felt driftier than drift mode. But the rally's cool. It's keeping us on that balance and trying to get us going forwards. I still think like the most fun thing here, performance limited right now. We're in turtle mode because we probably overheated something.
Yep.
We got turtle on the dash. We'll give it a second to cool down. And it says we can't change drive mode. This happened to me with the suspension compressor overheating, and I was stuck in highest, and it locked me at 20 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
So this is like, it still feels a little bit new of a truck, because like the Porsche, you could just pound around all day. You just get that impression where it just doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then you get in this thing and it's like very capable, but I had multiple suspension faults rock crawling it. I had weird motor stuff. Turtle mode's on. It's obviously, we must have freaked some sensor out. And so, yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's limiting power if you ask me, though. But definitely kicked, is stability on? No, I mean, you could still drive it like this as much as you want.
So what does the turtle actually mean?
Yep, Rivian's,
No, I mean in this context.
yeah,
like, what does it
Rivian's
do?
impression of a turtle must be like a bunny rabbit or something. Because, like, I mean, we're locked in whatever mode we were in. Rally mode's not a bad mode to be locked in, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But if we just come to a stop, left foot hard on the brake for it, and
Still
I mean,
like
that's
crazy.
everything it can do right there. Yeah, I don't know. So traction control is off. Can you see? I'm going to just do a quick hard drive here. Can you see if traction control flashes on, Jordan?
Yeah.
All right, so maneuver, power. Definitely showing up.
Yep, it's flashed.
But then it's not like doing its normal. I don't feel stability coming in. Even at low speed. I mean, it's spinning them up. This thing is just a freaking... It sounds so good. The brakes are pretty good. Even in standard, it's really fun because we're like roly-poly mode around here. And we're back at the Porsche. What a freaking experience. Ryan, can't thank you enough for letting me break your truck and put it in turtle mode.
It was great. Thank you.
And in park. Well, look, it says off-road rally. We just did that. And
Yeah.
here's the remnants. Yeah, well, there you go. We're just
And now
having
it's
some
back.
fun. Oh, yeah, now the truck's fine. We're out of turtle mode.
Yep.
So it fixed itself. Just needed to... What was the one thing I wanted to try again? Oh, yeah, sport mode, stability off. This is what I wanted to feel, was, does this feel better than the actual drift function in the truck?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So not necessarily in terms of driftiness, but in terms of like the way I like a car to drive, which is a little bit oversteer. You leave some time on the table making it drive like this, of course. But I kind of want to just see, like, does feel a bit faster there.
Yeah.
Yeah, noticeably.
Yep, and so maybe it was actually limiting power, but I mean, it's not slow when it does that. And so, yeah, I mean, we'll just kind of, everything's set the way we want it. Big skids. Sport mode's the way to go.
Yeah, this is great.
That's awesome. And now we ran out of steam on that motor, and we're... It's definitely trying to do some body motion control with motors.
Yep.
And it's definitely pulling back on regen every time we hit a bump. So it's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes that I wish it would just say, you're giving me full power, we'll just let you have full power.
And you can't change drive modes above 80, I guess?
Above 80, you can't change drive modes. So back to full soft mode, all-purpose, soft, standard ride height, the way I like to cruise in the Rivian. And that was freaking sweet!
And I'm really looking forward to driving back to LA with the truck looking like this.
Yeah, it looks
This
like
is
you
the
did.
best look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You at least have the image that you took it off. What a freaking blast this was out here. Definitely goes into turtle mode when you rip on it a little too hard. And what I think it's trying to do is just overdrive these rear wheels to get the maximum power on them to keep the thing sideways. And I can definitely feel it derating, and then it goes into turtle mode. But still, it makes insane power. Now it's time for the dust test. This is literally as dusty as you could get a truck. I mean, I don't know of any other way you could get more fine dust and just crazy stuff. And let's see. If we hit the gear tunnel button, could you unlock the truck? The key kind of doesn't work always amazingly well. Let's take a look. Wow, pretty good. Little specks of dust in there, but like definitely all throughout here. But this seal did its job. So let's close that up before more dust goes in. And then the big one is, how'd the tonneau do? Oh, not good. Definitely not dust proof. Oh yes. You're coughing from the dust coming out of here. All right, well, definitely don't trust that for dust, but this is a thick layer, like seriously gnarly stuff here. And yeah, you're gonna need to find like a tornado of rain. This is just gonna stay in the truck forever now, behind all the panels. And now we're gonna see how the Rivian does coming off-road. He's gonna need full suspension to clear this little big berm in the center. We got something laying in the ground. I say he just drives straight over it. I hope he's in max suspension. He's never really off-roaded before, I don't think. Got a guy just going, sounds like he's ripping, but he's going so slow. Nice. So we were just drifting around out there, and now we're actually doing some good freaking trails. I could smell the brakes though. It's nothing for this thing. Absolutely nothing, just crawling through. What's going on over here? That looks so cool. Oh, that's so sweet. There he goes. Love it. I just love the capability of that thing, to be able to literally go through this hardcore stuff and do, you know, max speed and great handling. And I'm like chucking it into corners. And that Taycan's just so amazing too. These are two truly stellar vehicles. Look at this thing cruising through, looking proud. Just awesome. Oh, he's going for more, going for more. Here we go. Nice. Looks good. Breakover angle here. How's it doing? Wow. Not even touching right there. Wow, it's like made for this thing. I think we've just created the Rivian next first mile experience right here. Nice shot underside of this thing. So cool. Covered in dust the way it should be. Wow,
Let's see how the approach angle is on the Taycan. Something I never thought I would be curious about. You're just shaving a tiny bit of dust. The approach angle's great.
how's the departure?
I think the approach angle is the harder one. So
I agree, it's got that long lip.
yeah, you're fine on the back too so far.
Great.
Wow,
Wheeling.
it's beautiful.
I can't see a thing, I'm using the front camera.
Nice. Still good on this end.
I'm not gonna fall off.
So approach angle was great.
I'm driving blind.
Let me see. You're fine, yeah. You're good so far. A little bit left now.
A little left.
A little left. Wow, the approach angle's great. Breakover angle's good. Departure's good. Taycan stats that are important, right?
Let's just do what the Rivian did.
Two-car solution, because you can do the same thing with both cars. You can literally wake up in the morning and no matter what you're doing, pick either one. Oh, that looks awesome. Now he's going right down the hill. You should be good. Oh, it's struggling for traction a little bit there. On the brakes. Wow, the bottom of the car never, oh, the front wheel locked up there. Beautiful. That was, literally, those two cars are incredible. Now I gotta make sure I get down this hill. Going back up.
I just want to see how the traction control handles this.
You might bottom out there.
Think so?
I don't know.
I didn't on the way down. It feels like I'm going to though.
It's close.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, yep.
I don't want to damage the car.
Yeah. Back.
I don't need to look behind me. There's nothing I'm gonna hit.
There's nothing, yeah. Just a lake. Amazing. Well, there you have it. Taycan did just about everything the Rivian could. Probably couldn't do that last thing where the Rivian just went straight over that to the bottom side. But stunning, stunning off-road performance by